Hey everybody, welcome to Augmented Reality, brought to you by the Triple S League. Check out our YouTube channel for game guides, reviews, comedy, music videos, tons more. My name is Ashenity, I'm here with Obsidian.
Hello!
So, we finally have a release date for South Park, The Fractured But Whole, again.
You mean the fractured but whole?
The Fractured But Whole, yes.
Yes, yeah, fractured but whole.
That's what I said.
Are you sure you said that and you didn't say butthole?
I'm pretty sure I said butthole. Okay.
Because I also wanted to make sure that you didn't say buttle, because that's what a butler does. Anyways,
the fractured buttle. What would that even mean? The fractured buttle.
Obviously, there's some butlering going on somewhere in a game about superheroes.
How do you fracture a buttle? Buttle is a verb. You can't fracture. Your grammar is bad, and you should feel bad.
I heard that that unfortunately, when Alfred slipped on a banana peel, that he did get a fractured buttle. Okay, so corny jokes aside, I'm really looking forward to this game. I think some good humor is always welcome in a world literally going insane.
Yep.
So,
and South Park has always been, agree or disagree, they exercise their right to freedom of speech and keep it alive and well. So, there's just nothing they're afraid to say. There's no topic too sacred, and the world needs more of that at this point because it's going scarily in the other direction on a global scale. So
insanity is everywhere.
Yeah. So yeah. No, looking forward to what this game has in store.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. New trailer dropped. Hilarious. Apparently, you can do up to three classes. 3 multi-classing, and Cartman's really pissed off about it, so that's a good thing. Any time I can piss off Cartman inside a game and have him get visibly annoyed with me, that is a good thing. Although I really don't want to piss him off too much because I've never forgotten that ChiliCon Carnival thing. So anyways, good news, great news, but you are here today to listen to us talk about one game that we've been dying to play for a very long time, and this whole thing has been just a long story of insanity and in some cases stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're like, how have we gotten to this point where it's like we don't even know what's going on? Apparently the companies just don't care about what their customers want, I guess. I don't know, who knows.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know a little bit.
But enough about Half-Life 3. No, just kidding. We are talking about...
Of course, we're talking about Firefly.
Firefly Online.
Yes. So Firefly Online has kind of gone under the radar, as overstating it. They've been so far under the radar that a lot of people have given up hope and assumed that it's just not coming out.
So how long, just give us a bit of history on this. So how long has this game been in the consciousness, the collective consciousness of gamers? Like when was it first conceptualized and announced that this was going to be happening?
So Firefly Online was announced in 2013, which that's not that long ago. That is 4 years ago. And it was announced for probably a launch around 2015-ish. Was kind of their hope. So, as you know, games, especially by big developers, run by really stupid companies, games are often delayed. Everybody always underestimates the time required to do anything inside a video game ever.
Mm-hmm.
So, realistically, we could expect to see the game probably somewhere around 2016. Well, it's 2017, and it's early-ish. We're not halfway through 2017. But big games that are announced, that are highly anticipated, are often announced at big events. And unfortunately, we haven't had a big event in 2017 yet. So we're looking at an event time probably, and this is where I really need to make this really clear. If we don't hear anything about it coming out in the next 10 months, we can safely say that the project is in fact been either permanently put on ice or has been canceled.
Okay, well, why do you say that?
Just because it would be coming up on 3 years that there's been a total blackout on this project. I also say that because there's some licensing issues that come up in 2018. And that's the bad news, is that if we don't hear about it in the next 10 months, we can probably safely say then it's out for sure. However, there's still a good, I would say good possibility. I'd say a little bit more than 50% chance that the game will actually be announced sometime this year.
Okay.
And the reasons why I say this is that there's a few things that we've dug up. There is some stuff that you can look around. If you know anything about licensing issues and how companies will correlate that to purchasing or pre-purchasing ad space on products, like the iStore and Facebook and those kinds of companies, that if they were planning on going through with it, they would keep those things active. Also, everybody is still under an active gag order. This includes all of the actors who have recorded all of their lines for the game. Or at least a majority of them. We know that Courtney Taylor was brought on for the female captain. We know that Nathan Fillion did the recording for the male captain. We know that they brought in most of the Firefly crew, I think all of them, to do a whole bunch of lines and to record a bunch of stuff. And that stuff was done right up till the gag order. The gag order basically came down and said, don't talk about this, right as soon as they were finishing up their voice acting. That would be a really weird and also really dumb place for them to decide to cancel the game. Is like, hey, now that we just finished paying, for all of these voice actors to do all this work, now's the time that we'll, cut it off. Now, big companies, they don't care, if they blow a couple $1 million, if they think that it's a smart financial move. Disney shrugged off a $220 million game and just ate that loss when they bought, LucasArts, and they bought the rights to the Star Wars series. So that's not unheard of for them to take a huge hit in just reconsidering a viability of a certain product. But the social interaction and the user input was really, really high for this Firefly Online, and the board games for the Firefly universe have been selling very well as well. So again, financially, unless Fox is stupid, which again, they have been stupid many times in the past, there's no reason why they would say, we don't want to pursue this. It's not unheard of, but let's just stick with what we know. So we know that they're still paying every month. They're still paying for stuff and people who are responsible for making the game. We know that the people who were involved in making the game are still working on a project that they're not allowed to talk about. We know that there's a couple of companies that are still being paid to maintain certain key things that a game studio would require. For example, email servers. The email servers are still active. They're not in stasis. They haven't been backed up and put into storage. They're still active email servers. As far as what I can tell, just looking at the servers that they're being hosted on, that those servers are doing stuff with the data. Now, I can't tell you what they're doing. Obviously, don't have that kind of access, but it's still ongoing. And the website, while it has shut down, it's not completely shut down. So portions of the website are still, you can still get access to them if you remember, or if you know the extensions to put on the end of the website, the main address. You can still pull up a ton of data on the site. The servers, the IP addresses, the licenses were all renewed in the fall of 2016. That was only a few months ago. So if the game has been canceled, we would see a downscaling of some of that stuff, especially the website. Like, who needs a website running if you're just going to can it? You could continue to own the domain name, but why reinvest in the website's utility services unless it's with a contract? So that, on top of the fact that the lawyers are still involved and they're still billing, and payroll is still billing Fox for money going towards this project. This could be literally nothing, and them just like finishing up contracts and giving out some final paychecks and after they've essentially fired everybody. But if they fired people, it would have to be a pretty hefty gag order to prevent you from talking about a project that has been canceled after they've moved on from the project and most likely will not be working with that company ever again. It's something that you would expect leaks to come out on, especially in this project, because the people running this project, the people who were originally designing this game, were huge fans of the series and really respected the community. They respected the community enough, in my opinion, that they would have let something go. They would have at least nodded or given some kind of something somewhere to somebody.
Sounds like there's still something definitely going on. Now, do we know it's going to be Firefly Online, or could it have sort of morphed into something different at this point?
And that's a great question. Could they be toying with the concept of maybe changing the project? Maybe they're thinking about a complete relaunch to the entire series. They've noticed how popular sci-fi shows are. The Expanse has done really, really well. That's a great show. Dark Matter and Killjoys, both a pretty decent success. There's a new Star Trek coming out. And for the most part, consumers are consuming up sci-fi again. And maybe Fox is looking and saying, okay, well, let's aim to relaunch this entire brand, this entire IP. Let's relaunch it, say, in 2020. But again, people at Fox, not very intelligent as far as most of that company goes. There's just so many things wrong with what they're doing. So stepping back, looking at the facts, the numbers, all of these things say that either they've done one of the worst jobs at closing up a studio and a project ever, or they're still just getting them to work on it quietly, and they wanted to significantly up the quality of the game. They weren't happy with maybe how the early beta was looking, the late alpha, where they were when they finally put a gag order on it. It was getting close to beta. They might have looked at it and said, we think that this game has potential, but we really want you to up the quality and the polish. And that would be a smart thing for them to do. I think that this is probably where they're at. I feel that there's about a 50-50 chance that we're going to get a surprise reveal this year, sometime at some event, and it's probably going to be out close to November, December. Or the game has been canned, and they're essentially just getting them to work on kind of new concepts that they can incorporate into a new video game or a new online game, and then release that in the future when they've rebranded and rebooted the series as a whole. There's a very small chance that they just said, you know what, we really hate all the crap that we get for this. We're going to punish the fans by not doing anything with the IP, sitting on the IP, refusing to sell the IP or trade the IP to anybody or anything that wants to work on it, and we're just going to do that because we're dicks. I really don't think they're dumb enough to do that. I think they're not smart.
Well, they were dumb enough to cancel it in the first place.
Honestly, I am sick and tired of seeing them treat this IP like garbage when its success rate is massive. Everybody I have ever shown this show to loves it. Everybody. I have never shown this to anybody who looked at it and said, I just didn't feel it, It wasn't something. Every person I show this to becomes a brown coat, joins a Firefly roleplay team or gaming group, and starts remodeling their house to look like the Firefly. Just saying, this is everybody I've ever shown this thing to. Little exaggeration there, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I don't know, Fox, you're screwing up.
That just reminds me of there was this event of some sort that was like hosted and arranged by Wil Wheaton, and the introductory speech was given by Strong Bad.
Nice.
On a screen, talking live to people. He's, playing things up. He's like, "Where are my brown coats at? Where are my brown coats at?" And they're all like, "Yeah, we're right over here." "Guys, your Firebug show is not coming back. Deal with it." It was
what
freaking,
a troll.
It was freaking hilarious.
I remember hearing about that. What a troll.
It was hilarious. Anyway, that's it for us for this week. This has been Augmented Reality. If you appreciate this weekly content, consider supporting us on Patreon. Check out patreon.com/the League. Until next week, my name is Ashton Inity on behalf of Subsidian. We will talk to you later.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to Augmented Reality, presented by the League. If you appreciate this weekly content, please consider becoming a Patreon supporter. Patrons get exclusive access to podcast outtake videos, downloadable music, an RSS feed of our podcast, and more. See patreon.com/the League for details. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.